Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Rebecca Grossman, the CEO of the Scottsdale Area Association of Realtors. We are so excited to start this one-of-a-kind Going Global Experience trade mission. Before we begin, I would like to take a quick minute to cover a few housekeeping items. Today's session is being recorded. To enjoy a better viewing experience, please close any additional browser tabs you may have open. If you have any questions for our speakers, please post them in the Q&A, which you can access on your menu bar at the bottom of your screen. And once again, welcome everyone. I want to thank our outstanding marketing partners for this event, the Canadian Real Estate Association, our premier partner, Sharon von Schoenberg. Would you like to take a moment and introduce yourself and say a few words, Sharon?
Is she on the call, Corinne?
I don't see her yet.
All right, well, we'll come back to her. Yeah, we'll come back to Sharon. But again, we thank her very much. And I know we have Elaine Forget, Royal Bank of Canada, RBC Bank. Please go ahead and introduce yourself and say a few words for us.
Yes, thank you, Rebecca. And first, thank you to, of course, all SAR and the Global Connect Leadership Council for such opportunity to be one of your major sponsors for this week Global Real Estate virtual event. And good morning, everyone. And you know, it's glad to be with you this week, and greetings from South Florida. I'm Alain Fouget. I'm head of sales and business development for RBC Bank USA, which is part of RBC in Canada, the biggest bank in Canada with over 15 million clients. And tomorrow I will introduce you with more details on how to grow your business with Canadians, things that you may want to know to help you to grow this part of the business. As you know, Canadians are number one or number two with China, depending on which state, and with $9.5 billion based on NAR last international study. So this is really Arizona's top three, and we about 1.4 billion just in Arizona state from Canadian. And despite the border is closed, Canadians still buy and they still sell their property or they still rent. So it's a lot of activity right now, despite the fact that it's a closed border that we are experiencing. So I'm glad to be with you. Tomorrow morning, I will cover more details. So back to you, Rebecca, and thanks again, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you, Elaine. That's fantastic. We're really happy to have you. Next, I'd like to introduce Lisa Calarco as the Manager of Global Business Development and Outreach for the National Association of Realtors, Commercial and Global Services Group. Her primary role is to help state and local associations around the U.S. establish and grow global councils to support members' global business development and the larger communities they serve. Lisa has been with NAR in various roles for 12 years and has spent the last 4 of those with NAR Global in the CIPS and Global Council area. And we have Joe Schneider, who's the Director of Global Strategy and Engagement at the National Association of Realtors. Joe oversees the day-to-day operations of NAR's international efforts and actively maintains partnerships with 100 like-kind associations in 85 countries around the world. While the nature of each partnership varies, Joe and his team ensure that NAR and its members have business avenues into these markets while helping NAR's partners advance their real estate markets through education, best practices, and strategic development initiatives.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. We're so excited to be here today. Yep, Joe and I work side by side. I handle the domestic, working with our state and local associations, such as the Scottsdale Area Association of Realtors, and we're so excited to be here. And Joe oversees everything from domestic to international, so there's nothing that he can't handle in this space. So thank you so much for having us.
Great to have you. Oh, Joe, we're
Sorry about that. I was on mute. That's
it happens to all of us.
That's the tagline of 2020. So
yep.
Apologies.
Yeah.
Really big honor to be here with you all today, and really appreciate the opportunity for Lisa and I to be a part of this really, really cool event. My job personally, I love being in this role because I get to interact with really innovative things like this. You know, these events, I know we're all wishing that we would be face-to-face and be able to network and meet in person, but this really is an innovative way to do these kinds of things. And it really, at the end of the day, it's really attaining our goals, which is to create more business opportunities and more business connections. So my hat's off to you all, and thank you again for allowing Lisa and myself to be involved.
So I'm going to turn it over to Suzanne and Laura to help me walk through this next section. Were we going to have questions for Lisa and Joe, or what?
Might
We have
want
a
me to-
presentation, so
Okay.
if Lisa and Joe, you want to take over sharing your PowerPoint?
You got it. Wasn't sure if we were ready for that, so sorry about that.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
Okay.
I've got
Let's
two
do-
people at my back to make sure we don't mess this up. So
Okay, takes a village. Hello. All right. Okay, I'm going to dive right into it then and get us started. So thank you. I'm going to share my screen here. And well, oh, here we go. So again, thank you for having us here today. We're just going to dive right into global engagement, connecting with global customers, and how NAR can help you do that from all the way, wherever we are in the world to right there in Scottsdale, Arizona. So I want to first start out by always defining who we're talking about when we're talking about global clients. It's dispelling that myth that it's some mystery, ultra high net worth individual from some foreign, far away country that just magically appears at your doorstep to purchase a property. May happen. I mean, that doesn't not happen, but also it contains the important people such as foreign buyers living abroad, immigrants, first generation Americans, Americans buying abroad, clients with international connections, and investment buyers. So it is a broad scope of buyers that we're talking about when we talk about the global real estate transaction. How do we know this? Well, NAR conducts a lot of research on this part of the real estate world, if you will. We do an annual report, two large annual reports, one on the U.S. residential real estate side, the international transactions in U.S. residential real estate, and that comes out typically July, August of every year. And then we also do commercial real estate, international business trends, which comes out late spring, early summer. And then in addition to that, we also provide 51, if you add in Washington, D.C., state-by-state international business reports. And those are updated on a biannual basis, mostly because they contain a lot of census data. And if you're a data nerd like me, I'm super excited to see what those are going to look like on the refresh after we've just completed the 2020 census. And so those will be updated, and those show, like I said, a lot of demographic, statistical information for each of the 50 U.S. states plus Washington, D.C. And all of those research reports can be found on our website at nar.realtor/research. So I'm going to give you the highlights of the two big reports that we do. And I say highlights because it's 43 pages long. And if I would be given my druthers, I could go on for about 4 hours about what's contained in that report. However, that's up to you to do. I don't want to bore you with all of that information. So the high level takeaways from the 2020 report, which I need to caveat and mention, this report took into consideration March 2019 through March 2020. And we all know what happened in March 2020. So the report always looks back on the last 12 months when it's in the field. And so, obviously the 2021 report will be very probably interesting, likely not the most exciting report we've seen, but 2020, what are you going to do? But anyway, getting back to the March 2019 to March 2020, NAR reported $74 billion was purchased in residential real estate by foreign buyers. That equated to roughly 154,000 properties across the United States that were purchased by foreign buyers. 61% of those foreign buyers were the resident foreign buyer type. And there's two types we look at in this report, the resident foreign buyer and the non-resident foreign buyer. And the resident foreign buyers are those immigrants, new Americans within 2 years, those on long-term visas, such as the H-1B or the J or the F. And we're seeing a higher increase in them purchasing our real estate as they're, establishing roots here in the United States, wherein in the past years prior, it's kind of been equal between the resident and non-resident foreign buyers. So that's a good sign, because that just means they're establishing roots. They're residents here of the United States, and they're realizing how important it is to become a homeowner in their local communities. The other report we look at is the commercial report as well. And this one in 2020 showed $53.4 billion in capital and cross-border capital inflows on the commercial side of real estate. 4.3 billion of that was specifically noted to be sold by NAR members in the commercial space. 58% of their transactions were all cash transactions, and 54% of the buyers purchasing commercial properties lived abroad, which inversely means 46% of them lived here on some resident visa or resident status. Again, you can take a look, deep dive into those reports, and I highly suggest that you do, especially when you're working in this space, because you want to know the trends and what's happening. And it really dives into, depending on what state you're from, if you're from Arizona, you'll see Arizona mentioned in there quite a few times. It tells you who's looking in the United States, where they're looking, what kind of property they're looking for. So in order to refine your skills and know where your networking needs to be focused for the year, I recommend it's there. It's for you. It's free with your membership. And so it's your report. Please use it, take it, digest it. So I'm going to go over what our goals are at the National Association of Realtors and how that relates to you and your business. First and foremost, wanted to just get it out there. I think mission statements are important, and those who I work with at the staff level know I'm always like, what's your mission statement? So the mission statement of NAR's global team is to render the global real estate markets accessible, profitable, and ethical for realtors to conduct business. That's our overall mission. And the goals that we undertake to achieve that mission include, as you can see here, to help our members become more successful in the lucrative global real estate markets. Obviously, our research shows us what the impact is, as I just went over. So how do we help our members become more successful in that market? We're to raise the level of professionalism in the real estate field throughout the world. So we provide education opportunities and best practices through individual membership opportunities. And our last goal is to help develop and strengthen real estate markets around the world by helping to implement global best practices and strategies into our partners' markets. Includes things such as licensing standardization, MLS or property platforms, advocacy, other initiatives to create transparent, safe, and profitable real estate markets. And that really is, it's big, and that's really Joe's main focus on, as I work with you guys on the state and local level. That big last paragraph there is not easy, and that's part of Joe's charge throughout the year. How do we accomplish those goals as a team? Well, at NAR, we have over 105 partner associations in 85 countries around the world. That represents about 7 million real estate professionals. Part of the structure that we have is we have 24 NAR Global ambassadors, 5 NAR Global coordinators. We also have over 130 global business councils, shout out to Scottsdale, in 28 states in the United States. We have within that 44 ambassador association relationships and 5,000 plus international Realtor members. Now, before you ask, that is not a membership category you as a US member can belong to. That is a membership category for those members that belong to one of our 105 partner associations around the world. So they have the ability to join NAR and get access to our benefits and network with our members and come to our conferences by virtue of joining NAR through their partner association. So they must be a member of that partner association. Don't worry, I'm going to describe what all those big, hairy, yucky words were when I ran through them really quickly. So an NAR Global Ambassador is a US-based NAR member that is appointed by the NAR president. So this is a global connection for you. They serve a term of 1 year with reappointment for up to 4 terms. They help maintain NAR's relationship with our bilateral partners in these countries. So like I said, we have 24 of them. So the countries they oversee are in groups, small groups, anywhere from 1 to maybe 4 or 5 countries at the max. As a group, they oversee them. We have then above them, if you will, the NAR Global Coordinators. So each region is assigned a global coordinator. Each region of the world is assigned a global coordinator. They monitor and in some cases oversee all the activities of those 24 global ambassadors. They are also appointed annually by the NAR president. And these are the 5 regions that they oversee. So depending what country grouping that global ambassador is working with, the global coordinator is essentially who they report to as needs and issues arise. And those global coordinators are obviously responsible for a larger span of knowledge when it comes to our partners in these regions. And again, these are all NAR members. So they're all resources for you if you're working with perhaps a client from another country, or you're trying to refer your client to another country and you want to understand further some nuances and things like that. Aside from NAR staff who has the connections, these are NAR members appointed. They can all be found on our website, nar.realtor/global, with all their contact information, and they're your resource to reach out to, connect with, and help you along the way. We also have built over time a real estate practices around the world. Now, I think this is a really cool thing. It's general guidelines on practices in countries around the world, and it's provided by our cooperating association partners, so essentially the NAR of their country. We asked them the same questions to each of the partners, and they filled out this form. And you can see here when they filled it out, it lets you know when it was last updated. So I just grabbed a screenshot of Italy. So this is accurate as of October 2018. So let's say you have a client here in Arizona that says, you know what, I want to buy a property in Milan. What can you tell me about what I need to know before I embark on that transaction? Are there residency restrictions? A lot of countries around the world say, you know, you must be a resident or you must be on a visa, things like that. What do I need to know? Well, if you go to our practices library, you can fake it till you make it. You can answer their questions that they need to know so that you are the expert and you are their connection to, you know, the practices that are happening in that country before you refer them to one of the real estate practitioners in that country to take the transaction over. Remember, you cannot practice real estate in these countries, but this does help you at least give your client the information they need. Or perhaps you have a client coming to Arizona from Italy and you want to know what they're used to dealing with when it comes to real estate in their home country, and maybe what you need to walk them through a little bit here in the United States. So in Italy, it looks like they pay, both the buyer and the sellers pay a commission fee, slightly different from the way we do that here. So being able to explain, I understand, you know, this may be how you're used to it, but here in the United States, the commission typically is paid by the seller, just to clarify it. It goes on and on. There's a lot more information, but we have about 50 of our partners that have provided us with this robust information and this wonderful library, again, for you to use, for you to connect with. And then you can search for an international realtor member to refer them to, or a CIPS, or you can reach out to the NAR Global Ambassador from that country and say, you know, is there a specific place I should be going to refer my clients to? Whatever. We have all these connections built in for you to use. And then here on the local front, we have our global councils. Again, as members of Scottsdale, you're hopefully very familiar with what they're doing here on the local level. And these are groups within the state or local association of NAR structure, and they provide collaboration, networking, education, communication. Basically, they're the local home for realtors in the global space. You can see the map of where they're located. So perhaps maybe you're not from Arizona and you're joining us here today. If you see your state with a little marker on it, that means there exists a global council in your area. And I highly encourage you to get involved. And that's another way for you to connect and strengthen your global business in your local market. We also have ambassador associations. Did I not? Oh, yeah, okay. This should not be in here. Sorry about that, guys. That was the wrong slide. So we do have ambassador associations. These are designed to help enhance connections to real estate opportunities and share association best practices. So this is less on the real estate best practices that we just saw and more on association best practices around the world by connecting our bilateral partners with a partner, state, or local realtor association. So again, just another level of connectivity at the National Association of Realtors. These are partnerships held by our state and local associations. Think a little bit like the sister city program that some people may be familiar with, like, oh, my local city is a sister city to, you know, LA is a sister city to France, things like that. This is NAR's version of that. So it gives the members of those ambassador associations the opportunity to expand their global business networks and get involved in international real estate activities at the state or local level. And again, just another resource for questions when it comes to what's happening around the country or ways to connect. Find the state or local ambassador association. If you're working with a buyer from Mexico, Texas is the Mexico Ambassador Association. So if you're not getting, or you don't know where to start at the association level, start with Texas Association and they will direct you to where you need to go. And again, these are a way for our associations to help each other out. So the information I talked about in the beginning about what Joe handles when it comes to advocacy and license standardization and MLS or some sort of property platforms, these are the questions that come association to association. So perhaps the president of one of our bilateral partners approaches the association that they're partnered with to begin to have those conversations and to understand, the structure of what we are, how we got to where we are, and answer those kind of questions. But it also allows an opportunity to connect member to member as well. In the local space, we also have a new series. It's a bi-weekly series. We have the Platinum Global Achievement Award. We have a Global Achievement Award program. And this year, for the first time, we did a live webinar to podcast series to bring the 11 Platinum Award winning associations to everybody, to all of the members interested in the world, to share how they created such high achieving global groups within their association and how that's benefited their members and their communities as a whole. So we're at episode 9, which will air this week, but they're all archived, like I said, as a podcast, because I don't know about you, but I'm tired of staring at screens. And so when I want to listen to things at the end of the night, I typically pop in a podcast or an amazing Spotify soundtrack and disappear somewhere that's not on a screen for a long time to give my eyes a break. So we opted to do a podcast version of these as well. And so they're just interesting, especially if you're a volunteer leader in the global space and want to know how or what associations out there are doing that is really kind of adding value back into the association. That's just one of the, again, another benefit we bring to shine a light on it for everybody to know. It's not a secret. Let's share what we got and build on it from there. Another really cool initiative that just launched, my wonderful colleague, Alex Escudero, has been working so hard to bring this to life. It started as a Facebook page and it has grown now into a website, NAR in Espanol. So it is now the go-to platform for US and global members to easily access content, resources, and tools for themselves in Spanish. We have over 100,000 US-based Spanish-speaking members in the United States and another 2,000 or more outside of the US. And this does include content to help us educate our members and to help consumers understand the benefits of NAR in the home buying process. So it's an amazing resource that is brand new and launched. And if you are Spanish-speaking or have clients that are Spanish speaking, I highly recommend you check this out. And really, it's because we realized, Alex, I give him all the credit, really realized we were missing out on connecting with members like this around the country. This is just the United States, a heat map showing where we have all of our Spanish speaking members and the opportunities we might be missing out on. So we've launched this new website, and it's really cool initiative. So I highly encourage you to look that up. And of course, we have the Certified International Property Specialist. I'm sure many of you on the call are familiar with and or probably hold the CIPS designation. But if you really want to connect and move your business into the global space, this is NAR's only international designation. It's a series of 5 classes that takes a look at how business is transacted around the world and what tools you need to transact that kind of business, and how to find that global business in your local real estate market. So it's a series of 5 classes. And then because it is a designation, you do have to submit a practical experience application demonstrating your knowledge of how to handle business in this space. And then you are conferred the CIPS designation. It is about 4,500 members in 40 countries around the world. So it really has its own networking built in. It has its own private Facebook group where I've I'm a member of a lot of private Facebook groups and within NAR and you know, on all your local associations and stuff like that. And I've not seen one with as much activity as the CIPS page, where really business to business is happening. Questions are being answered, concerns are being addressed. It's a mighty group of members. So if you have any further information or looking for, you know, I know Scottsdale is holding classes or perhaps other opportunities for classes in the future, or if you have further questions on what exactly that practical experience looks like, you can visit their website at nar.realtor/CIPS. And just a little caveat, it's always CIPS. We have people who call it SIPS and our colleagues who work in the education department, like, I think they die a little every time they hear it. So in the interest of self-preservation, make sure we're calling it the CIPS designation. So that is everything that NAR has to offer, like big chunks, taking big bites out of the elephant. But now I'm going to turn it over to Joe, who's going to talk about some of the further global opportunities that we have coming up as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Lisa. Great job. I'm going to share my screen here and just kind of leave off where you did. Can you all see that on that same slide, the global opportunities? Perfect. Lisa, great job again in explaining kind of what NAR Global is, what we're trying to do, how we accomplish our things, and really how we're successful, which of course goes back to everything at NAR is our members make us successful. We only create these programs to benefit our members. So what I want to do now is kind of take a little bit of a turn here. So that was kind of NAR Global in a nutshell and what we do. But what I really want to focus on now is how you all as members can get involved in some of the initiatives that we're doing around the world and how you can participate in some of these bigger events that we're facilitating to help our members and help bring investment back into the US. So that being said, I'm going to jump in here. And first is MIPHAM. So MIPHAM is it's one of the largest real estate events in the world, and it takes place in Cannes, France. It's normally the second week of March every year, but with COVID concerns, the conference organizers decided to push it back to June 7th through 10th in 2021, just to ensure that we give a little bit more time for COVID to kind of be, you know, a little bit more under control. We're all hoping and praying, but also to ensure that for us as Americans, we can get into Europe and participate in this. So they pushed it back a couple of months, which is great timing. I don't know if you have been to Cannes, but Cannes year round is beautiful, but in June, it's even more beautiful than March. So with that being said, what MIPHAM is, it's 26,000 attendees from 100 countries around the world, including 5,000 real estate investors. These range from institutional investors, high net worth individuals. And what they're really doing in a nutshell is shopping the world. Where can they put their money to give them the biggest return on investment? So what we want to do as NAR is help you guys, our members, really have an opportunity to compete with the rest of the world, compete with these other markets, and explain why the US is and will always be a safe real estate investment. We all know the answers to that the US has extremely, a traditional high return on any real estate investment. The US, and this is not a joke, is politically stable compared to other countries. I know that's something right now that is, we're kind of taken for granted here in the US, but when you look at other countries around the world, we are a very, very stable political country. And to give you an example with that, people, especially, I work a lot in Eastern Europe with some of the initiatives that Lisa had explained earlier. And we see that with political instability, the markets cannot thrive. Any markets, financial markets, real estate markets, whatever you might be. So people tend to shy away from investment in those countries, which makes the US a very, very, very important investment destination. So what do we do at MIPHAM? So NAR creates what we call a USA Pavilion, and we invite all of our major metro markets to participate. So we have every corner of the country represented. So if people are interested in California, this is what California has to offer. If people are interested in Arizona, this is what Arizona has to offer. And what we do is our partners typically will include their association leadership. They'll include their government officials. So whether that's representatives from the governor's office, the people that can really offer the incentives for large real estate investment. We're talking 100, 200, 300 million dollars. And then also the economic development agencies, the people that kind of talk this talk day in and day out. So what we really do is make sure that our members have the opportunity and ability to participate in this country, or in this show, excuse me, and are able to, once they get to Con and get to MIPHAM, that they have a home base in an area of operation. So that's an event we've been doing for the last 6 years. We have about 120 US representatives that will attend. And if you are focused and interested on attracting more, and this is a little bit more European investment, then this is definitely the show to attend. The second one is our show we call the International Real Estate Conference. We've been doing this for about 7 years now, and this really varies and travels across different Asian countries. And what we're trying to do here is bring together all of the association leaders. So as Lisa mentioned, we have all of our partner associations. This is the event that we bring all of our Asian partners together in the same room to really be focused on what are the real estate trends impacting Asia, both from the Asian perspective, and then also, and more importantly to the US audience, is where are Asian investors looking to invest in real estate. So this is something, again, we put our members in front of, and we ensure that they have these inroads to these Asian markets and are able to really interact and connect directly with these Asian investors and Asian associations. Of course, because of COVID, we were going to hold it in Indonesia this past year. I'm not sure if we're going to carry that over into 2021, but once we get that confirmed, we will send that out to everyone so they're aware of the event. If they want to take part in it, they're more than welcome to. Also, this we've been seeing growing by about 15% per year as far as attendees go. So I think with the lull from COVID, that 2021 will be an especially well-attended event, and we are expecting over 1,000 people to be there. So that is the IREC, the International Real Estate Conference in Asia. Next is something you're all aware of, and this is NAR's Conference and Expo. Something that not a lot of our general membership knows or understands is there's a large contingent of international attendees that attend this show. Last year, we had 1,700 in San Francisco, and that number actually equates to about 10% of the total attendees at that conference are international attendees. And really why they're coming to our conference is because, one, they want to network with you all, our US agents, to look at US investment real estate opportunities, as well as the other ways that they can promote their home markets to US real estate investors. So we always got to remember that kind of goes both ways. And what they're also looking for is best practices and the trends that are impacting the US industry, which in some of the other parts of the world, they start seeing those trends 2 or 3 years after we do here in the US. And I'll give you a quick example of this. Our BPO, or broker's price opinion designation, of course, that was built in 2008, 2009, when we had the financial crisis here in the US. But that was something that, after our market started to stabilize a little bit more, we were seeing less and less of our members take advantage of that. So we kind of, we didn't put it away. We didn't cancel it completely, but we kind of just tucked it away and put it in the back of our education designations. And then one day Greece came to us, and this was 2017, because they were starting to see a lot of foreclosed homes and bank-owned properties. So what we did is we kind of repackaged that a little bit, gave it to Greece, and they are now the world's leader in that. They have about 2,500 designees in the last couple of years, because again, that trend took a little bit, but it got back to Greece, and now we're seeing them really coming to NAR for advice of how we kind of weathered that storm, how we best prepared our members, and what they can do as an association to really get over that same hump. Going back to our conference, we really focus, and again, everything that we do is for our members to be more successful in the international real estate market. So we, it's not a far stretch, but what we did is put one and one together, all of these international attendees, all of our US members who are interested in global real estate, and we started creating events specifically for these two groups to come together, network, learn from each other, and most importantly, create more business opportunities. So if you have not participated in the global track of the NAR conference and expo, highly suggest you do that. This year, we're going to be doing that as well in a virtual format. If you're like me, I think we're all a little zoomed out. And I don't want to scare you away, but if you look on that graphic, it's November 2nd through the 18th, which is a long conference. So advantage for you guys, we've broken that up. So those 15 networking events will be spread out over those 3 weeks. So you won't have to sit in front of your screen for 8 hours a day just to participate. So look out for that information. I'll have Lisa kind of pick out the global events and send it to you guys if you want to distribute it to your members, if that's something you're interested in. And then last but not least, and this is something that we are extremely excited about, and this comes directly from Charlie Oppler, who is NAR's 2021 national president. And this is the C5 Investment Forum. And what this is the first time NAR has ever created an event like this. And this is specifically a commercial initiative. And it's really how he builds it is kind of a MIPHAM of the US. What we're trying to do here is bring in all of these institutional investors, these Fortune 500 real estate companies, or these Fortune 500 companies that are looking to diversify their investment portfolios by investing in large scale US real estate. We're looking for insurance companies. We're looking for high net worth individuals. And the good thing is we're going to take that same approach that we have to MIPHAM and really focus geographically in the US. So using Arizona as an example, why should you as let's say a European-based company or a South American-based company, why should you relocate your US headquarters to Arizona? What does Arizona have as a competitive advantage that these other states don't have? So what we're doing is we're bringing all of these players together to highlight the US and really make sure that all of the international investors have the opportunity and understanding to put their money in the US. And of course, this is a commercial focused event, but as we all know, commercial investment spurs residential investment down the road. So this is really, it might look like a commercial event on the surface, but this really impacts our entire membership in every single US market that NAR covers. And so this is something, we're still putting everything together. And you guys are actually lucky. And as I'm saying, I hope I didn't get myself in trouble, but the official launch will be at the NAR convention. So you guys got the sneak peek of this. And so once we do the official launch, we will have more and more marketing material come out, how you can get involved, how, the partners you should be kind of bringing onto the table as the Arizona representative. We'll kind of walk you through all that and make sure that you're well equipped to kind of take on and really thrive at this conference here. So with that being said, with everything that Lisa did and these events right here, the one thing I really want to reiterate is we, NAR Global, is here to help you guys, everybody from our associations, state and local, to our members, individual members practicing global real estate, to our bilateral partners. I saw we have a couple of our Korea friends on the call here. We are in this together. Global investment cannot be done independently of anybody else. So we are trying to be the ones that really kind of connect all of the pieces, ensure that everybody has an equal playing field and has the ability to reach these international investors in these international markets. So with that being said, again, on behalf of Lisa and myself, I really want to thank you all for allowing us to be here today. As I said in the very beginning, this is not the best way to come together. I know we all want to be face to face, but it is the necessary way. It's a safe way to be doing it. And it's a way that we don't want to wait a whole year to be having those conversations. So my hat's off to the entire Scottsdale staff and team, everyone that kind of pulled this together. It's not easy doing these, and this has been a great event and honored to be a part of it. So thank you.
Thank you, Joe. I will check with staff to see if we have any questions that were given. I had a question actually on the event here in the United States, which I'm very excited about. I know that Bob Goldberg first mentioned it about a month ago, and I was happy to hear some more details. So as you know, it's so expensive to go to MIPHAM, and it's very difficult. Housing is difficult, everything's difficult. And so to have an event like this in New York, where we can probably find much easier accommodations, what are going to be the opportunities for global association committees to participate, for members to participate, to have the ability to be there?
Yeah.
I know you said you're still fleshing it out, but what can we anticipate?
Absolutely. So one of the things that associations have the opportunity to do here, and specifically the associations that have a global committee or a global council, is, again, you guys are a little more attuned to why people invest in the US. You know how to have that conversation. You know how to really promote your market as a viable investment destination. So as we see it from the NAR perspective, everybody is going to have an opportunity, because really every single part of the US is a viable investment destination for one company or another. I know you guys in Arizona have been having a lot of tech relocation. So a lot of tech companies have been relocating there. So that is something that, in tech especially, tech companies kind of like to bubble and group together. So international tech companies like to come to where US tech companies are, i.e. Silicon Valley. And again, Silicon Valley is kind of transitioning a little bit where they're finding other markets like the Phoenix, Scottsdale area, like Austin, like other parts of the country. And so what happens is that becomes a tech hub. It becomes kind of an area known for tech innovation and tech workers. So this is an opportunity, you all know better what your area is best for. So this conference will give you an opportunity to promote that and to really market yourselves as that destination. And to your question, once you have whatever the strategy is of how you want to kind of go about that. So if it's the association leading that in conjunction with the Economic Development Agency or the governor's office or whoever it might be, what associations have done in the past, and I'm talking about with MIPHAM in this specific circumstance, but is they'll send something out saying, this is our presence at C5. You're more than welcome to come and participate in this booth. And so everybody really has an opportunity to participate in this. And of course, the associations are there to make those bigger connections with the economic development agencies or the governor's office. But associations don't close deals. It's the members that are closing the deals. So the members are a vital component of that, to be able to talk kind of specifics and everything that's actually happening in the transaction aspect of it. So everybody has a role to play in this. And, I'm glad you said that Bob said that, so I'm not going to get myself in trouble.
Yeah, he let it out of the bag.
Yes, please tell him that.
So you're good.
But yeah, this is a great event. And the first time we've done something like this. So It's not a one and done thing for NAR. We envision this being something we continue to do for years on and build year after year on.
That's very exciting. And I think you kind of answered one of the questions that came in that was, will you be looking for ambassadors from different cities to be involved and assist with the event? And I think, that would kind of work similar to MIPHAM, where we recruit volunteers to come and be at the booths and speak about, the market in their areas. So that's a great opportunity. And I love the fact that with the so our experience has been when we've tried to get the economic development folks to join us in MIPHAM, they don't have a budget. They just don't have that kind of a budget. And so maybe this will be an opportunity to really include more of our stakeholders and those that support us. So I'm very excited about it. Any other questions that we got in the chat there, Laura? Are you seeing anything else?
No. Question in the Q&A.
Okay. Oh, I see it. Yes, let's take a look. Oh, that was the one I just said was, will you be looking for ambassadors from different cities? And I think there definitely will be opportunities for that.
And, to your point about the, partnering with these economic development agencies, not all economic development activity is international. Most, I would say probably 75 to 80% of their jobs are looking for ways to attract investment from other parts within the US. So it's always kind of coming to them, in terms of getting that partnership up and running for little different value propositions. So I think this one is going to be something where it's a light lift on their end. To your point, I mean, budget is always a very important consideration, but New York City is a lot different than traveling to France. And, Cannes is a very small city. They get 26,000 people that go to that. So, the hotels really take advantage of that, and lodging is not cheap. So, but the one thing too that I want to reiterate is that MIPHAM will go hand in hand with C5. So MIPHAM will kind of be the advanced group, really putting the US on the map of here's a little bit of information about the US. Here's C5. If you want more, come to the C5 where all of our markets will be represented and you can learn about the US as a whole. So really, really great initiative from Charlie Oppler, and super excited to execute on it next year.
Great. Suzanne or Laura, do you have any questions that you tend to hear from the group?
I just have one quick question. Joe, what we see is that the messages that come out of NAR that are typically the video, PowerPoint support presentations, some of those are the most powerful, informative things that we can share with the members, because as you know, the shorter it is, the more likely it is that they will look at it.
Yeah.
And in the past, the MIPHAM videos have been extraordinarily persuasive, let's put it that way. So will you be coming out with a few things like you have in the past to kind of support these efforts, whether it be by, a click-through PowerPoint or its own place on the website, to help convince the members? It's getting people over that hump of understanding what the value really is to them. And when they're hearing from people that have experienced it, it makes a big difference.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a great point. And that's, I don't want to elongate this answer, but when we were coming up with this conference, the one thing that we started with, if I'm a member and I have to take time away from my business and then spend money to go to New York City, am I going to dollar for dollar get that money back? What is the return on my investment going to be? So with that, the programming and everything at the conference is going to be focused on answering that specific question. But to your first point is, yes, this is something that, and I'm really glad you said that the NAR videos are helpful, but this is truly an NAR-wide initiative. So our marketing, convention, events team, commercial, global, advocacy in DC, everybody is playing a hand in this. And I want to point out our marketing and communication events team, because they've been doing some great work lately in creating these videos. And so as soon as this annual convention is done, that is on first thing and at the very top of their list is to create the collateral for this. And then on top of that, what we're going to be doing is kind of educational series of why participate in this, what is economic development, what are these international companies looking for when they invest in the US, things so we can kind of spur that conversation at the state and local level is how do we kind of answer these questions of what they are looking for. So that's something that we will be kind of doing a lead up, both for the MIPHAM and the C5 conferences to really get that conversation going with that within the associations.
And I guess I have to ask this question. Are you contemplating making it a both virtual and in-person experience?
We are. Right now we're not banking. We have contingency plans, but we are pushing this forward as if it will be an in-person event. And one thing, if you participated at our past legislative meeting in DC this past year, I think that NAR's is now in a kind of a mode of thinking that we want to engage the most amount of people as possible. So I think most of our events moving forward are going to be kind of a hybrid in-person and then also have a virtual component to it. So everybody around the country can participate.
Right.
But fingers crossed that it will be to a point where we can do it in person.
Yeah, and
Rebecca, we do have another question in the Q&A.
Yeah, I just saw it. I was about to say, and I think it's too soon probably to know anything about accommodations and information, registration information, correct? Joe, you said that hasn't quite been finalized yet?
Is this for C5 or for MIPHAM?
For C5, yeah.
C5, yeah, nothing is up. Like I said, the formal launch will be during the Realtors Convention in the next couple of weeks. And once that is, we'll have our website kind of go up with all of the information, Laura, to your point, all of the resources and things like that. And normally NAR opens up registration about 8 to 10 weeks before an event actually takes place. So.
Okay, and we'll make sure, I know that Suzanne and Laura will make sure that, especially this group that's included in our summit this week, that we'll get that information out as soon as we see it.
That would be great. We really appreciate that.
Yeah,
Thank you for that. I think one of the other questions too was also in regards to accommodations and registration for MIPHAM. I don't know if you, they were also asking about flights. I know Laura and I, we have traveled with SAR, with our Global Council group, to MIPHAM a couple of times, and we can give you the average. We know right now prices are all over the place, but just for a ballpark figure, if you're trying to plan your budget for attending in person over in France, I think we've been coming in on average about $5,000, includes your airfare, your accommodations, registration, your food and travel expenses. So that's a rough budget. I think airfare averages somewhere about $1,400 to $1,800 round trip. And the accommodations are a little bit different. If Joe wants to add on to that, we've had to book ours. You can try and do it through hotels that are available. NAR does a great job of facilitating things through their coordinator for some of those accommodations, but you can also reach out, and we have some external, for lack of a better phrase, travel coordinators that have access to apartments, because it does rent out.
Yeah.
It's a good place.
I would say if you're interested in going to MIPHAM, you can definitely tap into Suzanne. She's kind of done a lot of research, and you don't just want to fly blind if you're planning on that type of a trip. So yeah. we can certainly help you. Any other questions for Joe?
One thing I'll add to MIPHAM, and I want to give a big shout out and also kind of my condolences to Lisa on this. She's been dealing with all of the MIPHAM rescheduling from this past year. So if you want to And this is kind of a tricky game to play because accommodations do go very, very quickly. So you want to make sure that you have a place to stay earlier rather than later. But if you do that, ensure that you have a cancellation policy in there, and make sure that you're going to get your money or your deposit or whatever they require back in the case of a cancellation. Because this was something that we had, I don't want to say it was a problem, because most of our participants were able to get their deposits back. But at the same time, it wasn't the easiest thing to do. And keep in mind, the business community in Cannes, they lost 26,000 revenue from 26,000 people. So they were hurting bad. Just ensure that if you do it, make sure that you have your bases covered and you're able to really, should COVID not kind of settle itself at this time, or the EU still not allowing Americans to travel there, ensure that you're able to get your money back, both on your accommodations and your flight.
And make sure you read the small print in any kind of flight insurance that you purchase, because they're not all the same.
Very important. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Joe. And I know that you guys always make yourselves available if we ever need anything else. So we totally appreciate that. Is Sharon on? Sharon von Schoenberg, are you on?
I am.
Awesome.
Hi everyone.
Hi, how are you doing? Well, we want to thank you again for helping us put on this fabulous event. And can you take a couple minutes and just talk to the group?
Sure. Hi, good morning, everyone. Sorry, I was late jumping on, got called into another virtual meeting. Sorry, talk about being zoomed out. But I'm happy to be here and happy to be here for the week. So congrats on a great first session. I did catch most of Lisa and Joe's presentation. So it's great to hear what all NAR is doing. And for those of you who I maybe have not met virtually or in person, I work with the Canadian Real Estate Association and I oversee our global initiative. So a lot of my time is split between running our global affiliates program, as well as doing collaborative items like this type of presentation, keeping our members part of that cross-border business, whether it be inbound, outbound, and of course, promoting why Canada is also another great place to invest. So both the US and Canada, keeping our two countries. So thank you again for having me. And I don't want to take up too much airtime. So I think I'm presenting at the end of the week. So for those that will chime in there, we'll see you then as well.
Thank you, Sharon. We so look forward to that and so appreciate you being here. What's the weather like up there?
Well, it was beautiful.
It was.
It was. It's cold and rainy. I don't have any snow yet, but Regina, California, I'm thinking of sunny places, obviously. Calgary, I meant to say, have snow. So Northern Ontario, Saskatchewan, Alberta are in snow, and I believe we may get some later this afternoon. I haven't been outside, but my heat is on in the house.
Ah, wow. We're having a little bit of a cold spell down here too for us. It's in the 60s, I think, today, but anyway, can't complain. Not like your weather.
No.
But anyways, thank you, Sharon. And I'm going to turn this over now to Suzanne and Laura. Thank you very much, you guys.
Thanks. I was gonna go ahead and step in here. So I'll take over. Thank you, Sharon. It's great to have you. Great to see you today, even if we're a little bit chilly on both of our sides. But since our global group is built on relationships, we'd like to take a minute to talk to you about AREA, the Asian Real Estate Association. We were going to have Kurt Nishimura, one of the founding members of the AREA Greater Phoenix chapter and recently elected to serve as AREA's national president in 2023, speak about AREA and our partnership. Unfortunately, Kurt had a last-minute situation arise and he will be unable to join us today. So I'm going to briefly step in to say a few words in his place. Our SAR Global Council has been working with the AREA Greater Phoenix chapter for several years, but took the initiative in 2019 to strengthen the partnership and formalize their commitment by promoting and expanding their mutual global networks through the signing of a Memo of Understanding agreement. Since then, our organizations have worked to share, expand, and elevate our global networks, increasing continued education opportunities, in addition to the number of resources available for all of our members. Building further on our global partnerships, SAR's Global Council has been working with several global council groups over the past few years, including the Canadian Real Estate Association. As a result of our council's dedication to building their global network, we are proud to announce that on October 16th of this year, we officially signed an MOU, Memo of Understanding, with CREA Global, the Canadian Real Estate Association. To commemorate the event, we held a virtual signing and recorded it so we could share this historic moment with all of you today. To share with you this moment, let me share my screen with you, and let's watch the video. Can you hear my audio?
Yes.
No, I can't hear the video.
You can't hear the video? Okay, hold on just a second.
Can hear you talking, but not the video.
Let me get this. There we go. Welcome everyone. I am Suzanne Brown, Director of Community and Government Affairs for the Scottsdale Area Association of Realtors. Oh, sorry. Thank you so much for joining us. I would like to start by introducing our Scottsdale team who is here with us today. First off, Cindy Reddy, our 2020 President. Louis McCall, our 2020 President-elect. Polly Mitchell, our 2020 Global Council Co-Chair, and Holly Blackwell, our 2020 Global Council Co-Chair. Additionally, we have Laura Kovacs, Assistant Executive Officer and Director of Education, and also my counterpart as Staff Liaison for our Global Council. Also present today, we have several of our Global Council members who have been a dedicated part of our global MOU initiatives, including one of our members who was instrumental in making this MOU possible, Tricia Lehane. She is a past chair of our Global Council and currently serves as the only U.S. Realtor member on the Canadian Real Estate Association Global Committee. Rebecca Grossman, our CEO, unfortunately cannot be with us today as she was representing SAR at a very important City of Scottsdale economic recovery event. But she wanted to share her heartfelt thank you to all those involved in making this partnership a reality. Now, I'd like to turn it over and welcome Sharon von Schoenberg. Sharon, why don't you take a moment to introduce the CREA representatives with us today?
Thanks, Suzanne. I'd love to. So first, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Sharon von Schoenberg. I'm Project Manager for Global Services at the Canadian Real Estate Association. And I'm very pleased and happy to introduce the following key participants in this MOU signing and in all the global initiatives. So first, we've got Michael Borg. He's our CEO at CREA. We have Costa Palopoulos. He's our chair of the Canadian Real Estate Association, or CREA as we call it. Pauline Anger, who's our current chair of Global Committee. And Mark LaFrance, whom I love reporting to, is my direct report. He's Director of Member Experience here at the Canadian Real Estate Association. So Suzanne, I'll turn it back to you.
Thank you, Sharon. Once again, welcome to all. I'm so glad that technology has allowed us to come together in these unprecedented times. And I would like to start by opening the floor to our respective leadership and invite Michael to say a few words.
Thank you, Suzanne. Look, even though I live in Eastern Canada, I've been to Arizona many times. So if you'll indulge me during these COVID times, I just want to reminisce for a moment. I'm a golfer, and I can't wait to get back to True North or to TPC Scottsdale and stay at the Fairmont or the Phoenician and play their course again. I'm a car lover. I can't wait to get back to Barrett Jackson. Maybe this time I'll come home with a car. I could go on, but let's just say that I understand the value of international collaborations, and this MOU, which represents our partnership, will help realtors in Canada and Arizona who are interested in growing their cross-border referrals. As a national association, we look to assist all realtors in Canada to learn about, grow their cross-border business. And according to the National Association of Realtors' latest international activity survey, of the $9.5 billion, that's billion with a B, spent by Canadians south of the border, 14% was in Arizona, or about 1.3 billion. And I know many of those are my friends. And our own research mirrored this finding, with members reporting that in 2019, just over 12% of their clients bought in Arizona. So working together ensures our members remain part of these international transactions and that the business can continue. So, you know, the more I think of it, forget the car, maybe next time I'll come back with a house. I'm so happy to be here. Cindy, maybe you'd like to add a few words.
Thanks, Michael. And as we reminisce about connections, it's fun for me because I married into the Canadian family. So my husband's from Ottawa, and his family presides all over Canada, from Vancouver all the way to Toronto. So I've had a lot of opportunity to spend time up there with family, and of course then doing business both with buyers and sellers from Canada. So it's such an honor. And just for fun, today I'm wearing my Canadian real estate pin. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I received that several years ago on a speaking engagement up there, and I'm just honored to wear that in today. So the Canadian Real Estate Association and the Arizona Scottsdale Area Association of Realtors are coming together to acknowledge the current collaboration and value of international partnerships to strengthen our members' relationships. Our global members truly recognize the significance of this partnership. Our research shows that not only Canadians are one of the top 2 sources of global spending and investing, just as Michael just said, in Arizona, they're also #1 for internationally owned businesses for the greater Phoenix metro area, with 215 companies in 913 local employees and 18,500 workers. According to Canadian Glenn Williams, CEO and founder of the Canadian Arizona Business Council, which has pursued promoting cross-border business-to-business investment for quite some time, foreign capital investment is critical to Arizona capital formation and global business retention, attraction, and expansion. What attracts foreign direct investment to Arizona is opportunity, the fact that companies in real estate here are available for purchase and the economy is growing. By putting in place a memorandum of understanding, we look to exchange information, promote professionalism, provide broader education and opportunities to our respective members, and continue to strengthen our international collaboration. Suzanne?
Thank you, Cindy. Now, if I can take a moment, I would like to turn the focus back to our SAR president and CREA's chair, who will be signing the MOU here today. Yay! Excellent. Thank you.
Well, I want to say as well, thank you, Suzanne. It's my pleasure to be part of today's event. And I can say that over the last year, we've been a part of many cross-border presentations illustrating the strength of global real estate. And these types of partnerships for the Canadian Real Estate Association are important, and it makes it easier for realtors to connect our markets, connect with one another, make referrals, and work together with our cross-border transactions. We know that real estate is local, and in today's world, real estate is definitely global. So thank you for that. Cindy, back over to you.
So like Costas, I look forward to working closely with my realtor colleagues north of the border and to our Scottsdale and area members growing their network and becoming knowledgeable on Canada and your real estate market.
Thank you everyone for being available today, and to our president and your chair for signing the MOU. And for our CEOs supporting global efforts in our associations. The pandemic perhaps kept us from coming together in person for this, but we do look forward to when our members can meet in person at future real estate events. I would like now to have our Global Council chairs, Polly Mitchell, and CREA's Global Committee Chair, Pauline Unger, say a few words about our upcoming global events and the kickoff to our first event post-MOU.
We are excited about this MOU and the momentum it will create between SAR and Canada and building around our global efforts. We are excited to share this MOU with an international audience virtually. As part of our collaboration and partnership, we are also excited to be working with the Canadian Association and happy that CREA Global is able to be part of our upcoming inbound trade mission, yay, the Going Global experience. This free 5-day virtual event is taking place October 26th through the 30th. And for those members who are pursuing their CIPS designation, we are also offering a CIPS class on the Americas and international real estate to be held virtually October 27th and 28th, which I think is an awesome thing. And thanks to CREA Global being a premier marketing partner for our trade mission and CIPS class, special discount pricing is available for all CREA Global members. So right on. All right, Pauline.
Thanks, Polly. And thank you, Scottsdale Area Association of Realtors, for all your efforts on bringing global opportunities to the forefront for your members. As chair of CREA's Global Committee, I look forward to growing our members' knowledge and networks around cross-border business. We're also looking forward to not only supporting, but being part of your trade mission later this month. It's a great opportunity to educate our members on why so many Canadians are making Scottsdale the location for their international property.
Thank you, Polly and Pauline. Now a few quick words from Mark and Sharon. Mark?
Thanks very much. This is another exciting partnership for CREA. Suzanne and Sharon, I want to thank you for bringing our organizations closer and to supporting Realtors Global Business. Thanks very much.
And I'll just echo really what's been said during this whole signing. I really look forward to working with Suzanne. I know as staff we'll be working closely over the next year, the first event being the trade mission, and then future webinars and hopefully in person. I think all of these MOUs help to symbolize the importance of relationships and collaborations among associations, and in turn bringing our members close and keeping both of our members part of that international transaction. So I look forward to being in Scottsdale at the end of this month, although virtually. And I hope when this pandemic is settled and gone, to being there in person. So again, thanks Suzanne and everyone else involved today.
Thank you, Sharon. Again, thank you to all for taking the time to be here. And I too look forward to the next steps and to having CREA Global participate in our upcoming virtual trade mission later this month. Thank you. All right. So now to hopefully everybody enjoyed that video that we put together and we were able to share with you. We are so excited about this opportunity of expanding our relationship with CREA. Hope all of our members are able to take advantage of it. It sparks some more interest in international and global real estate for everyone. Laura, can I turn it over to you to kind of close
wanted
us
to
out?
thank you. I was talking while muted and I apologize. I just wanted to take a moment and thank Suzanne and Laura for pulling all of that together and all of the people involved. Sharon, thank you so much. You know, it's a monumental occasion, but it's hard to make it seem such with the distance that we had to deal with and doing it virtually, but you guys really did a great job. So thank you very much. And go ahead, Laura, sorry.
Well, maybe someday we'll get to do a rerun in person, which would be really awesome. So
Great, with the champagne toast involved.
exactly, at least one. Yes, yes. So looking ahead to tomorrow's events, I just want to remind you all that we still have plenty of room for you to register for our SIPS class, and the registration link was posted in the chat box a little bit earlier today. And you know that will again, we're looking at the Americas, investing in the Americas. So hopefully you'll get a chance to join us with Ginny Field, and we're making special accommodations for our CREA partners. And of course, we would love to have a lot of our own members there to support as well. Tomorrow we'll be looking at our second day, our second event. We'll be talking about lending to foreign clients, what the financing process looks like when someone wants to purchase a property in the United States. Alain Forget is going to share his experience with us and the processes that you need to think about and what needs to be done. We'll talk a little bit about the title processing as well. Jonah Spiegelman will be with us, who is an attorney that represents foreign purchasers in the process of buying property here in the United States. He's licensed in Canada and California, so he has great insight into the process. And Sheila Long, who is our own member with Old Republic Exchange, will be joining us to talk a little bit about the purchase aspects from the 1031 exchange side. So we look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Please invite your friends, get them to register. We're more than happy to send out the links for tomorrow as well. And we look forward to seeing you tomorrow in a brand new show.